What's going on YouTube? So American muscle car fans have been anxiously awaiting a new Charger for many years now. And while this next generation model has technically been out for a year already, this is the model that most people were waiting for. This is the new Charger Sixpack. This American muscle car now has a powerful gas engine under the hood, pumping out 550 horsepower, and is promising to thrill even more than the last generation. So, should this muscle car have the Mustang worried? Well, let's go ahead and find out. Of course, the real star of the show is the six-pack underneath of the hood. So let's start there with a quick spec dump. We have a 3-liter twin turbocharged inline 6-cylinder. It makes either 420 horsepower with the standard RT version or 550 horsepower with the Scat pack that we have today. That's going to be paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. We have standard all-wheel drive, and the combined fuel economy has not yet been rated.
Now, the base price for this six-pack is a hair under $50,000, and if you're looking to buy one or any new vehicle, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes to get the best price. Now, of course, later on, we're going to take a look at the exterior as well as hear this new engine.
But let's go ahead and close up the hood so that we can dive right in. So getting into the exterior design, this next generation Charger really has a very retro but also modern design that's certainly inspired by the previous generations of the Charger model. Now, when you're comparing this six-pack though to the existing Daytona electric model, the front end is really where you're going to see the most changes. It's completely different because you have to have a lot more cooling for that big old engine under the hood. So you'll notice up here in the front, we've got a lot of cooling areas down through here, as well as through the center section. Six-packs across the hood as well, because this is actually bulged up a lot higher, whereas on the electric model, you have just a wing up here in the front for aerodynamics. Now, in terms of the headlights, you have premium LED headlights. If you get the Plus group, you get the full light bar as well going across the front. We also have the illuminated Fratzog logo as well. Moving to the wheels, you have 20-inch alloys in a few different finishes that are unique to the six-pack model as well. As you can see, we have kind of the brighter silver finish on today's example. And by the way, these are staggered widths, so it is wider in the back. And today we've got the all-season tires on board, which are standard on this model because it is rather cold, and actually there's been a little bit of snow on the ground today. Now you'll notice peeking behind there, we have large Brembo brakes. These are 6-piston Brembo brakes. As we move up here to our mirrors, we have the available carbon fiber finish, and of course you have standard blind spot monitoring and heating as well.
Now, at this side, you might notice this is a really big looking coupe, and that's because it actually is. It's 206.6 inches in overall length. That is absolutely massive. That's larger than most 3-rows in terms of length, and it's about 15 inches larger than something like a Ford Mustang. Now, there's a reason for that. You will see that we have the 2-door version. Stellantis is offering a 4-door version as well, so you can option that on for about $2,000, and that's actually going to be the exact same length as this model. Now, you may notice that there's a really nice looking side design. We also have a black roof. That's actually standard equipment, or you can also get the glass roof. And then moving around to the rear, we have a very classic Dodge look to it. I think they've done a great job of making this car look modern, but also a lot of those heritage elements from Chargers of the past. Now, as far as individual design touches, we have the blacked out spoiler up here at the top. That's standard on the Scat Pack 6-pack models. And then dropping down below, we have these really cool looking taillights. I absolutely love the way these look. They're 3-dimensional, and they're also very premium when it comes to the lighting elements. You have your LED brake light, your LED reverse light, and turn signal. You also have the illuminated Fratzog logo, so even at nighttime, people will be able to tell what this car is. Now, as we drop down to the lower fascia, we have Charger stamped into the diffuser area, and of course, this is really where the magic of the six-pack is. You can already probably hear this exhaust system. You have a standard active exhaust for this model. Let's go ahead and take a listen. I bet you enjoyed that a little bit more than the electric Daytona model. Now, let's talk about safety systems. When it comes to safety, you're getting 3 out of 4 active safety features as standard equipment. Of course, you can also get auto high beams in the Plus package here on the 6-pack model. And if you're curious as to what this cool orange paint color is, this is known as Peel Out. But guys, there's a lot to talk about on the inside, so let's go ahead and dive into that. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then we've reviewed over 2,000 cars at every price point.
No matter what you're looking for, from sound level readings to cargo measurements, we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the latest cars. All right, let's move on to the inside. First, here is our key fob. Got that typical Dodge key fob, but we have the nice carbon fiber finish, and you have a standard smart entry system as well as remote start. Getting inside, this has the electronic door handle, so just reach behind there and pinch, and that will unlock the door, which is very, very long here on the 2-door version. Now, let's check out the interior. We've got a brand new design for this generation of the Charger, which, again, just like with the outside, has a little bit of retro cues, but is thoroughly modern. Now, we'll start by talking about the seats. There's a lot of different options that you can get as you move through the various trim levels. We have one of the top options here, so we've got the available single-piece sport bucket seat. So you'll see that that has the integrated headrest right into the system itself. We also have the available suede and carbon fiber package I mentioned on the outside, so this is suede finish through the center of the seat to really help hold you in place nicely. You have a lot of adjustments down here as well, including a power thigh extension, and the seats themselves seem very comfortable. Memory is an available option as well, and that's located over there on the door trim. But let's go ahead and climb on inside. And now that we're inside, we'll look around at the rest of the cabin materials. They're really significantly elevated from the previous generation. You'll notice you have leatherette all across the armrest portion, a full leatherette covering with a stitching detail through the top part, and then through the center section, since we have that available carbon fiber. All of this is finished in a genuine carbon fiber. It really looks quite fantastic. The ambient lighting also illuminates up on it and goes all throughout there. The entire upper dash, again, finished in the leatherette with the 2-tone stitching. We have some suede through the center section, and then more padding and leatherette and carbon fiber trim on the center console as well. And then we have a prominent push-button start, so let's fire her up. Nice. I definitely like the way that sounds when you fire it up. It has a good throaty sound to it. Now let's jump into the individual details. We'll start, as always, with the gauge cluster. So there's a couple different options here. What is standard is still a digital cluster, but it's 10.25 inch. This is the available 16 inch. It's in the Plus package, and this one is absolutely enormous. And as you can see, very vivid in terms of the graphics, which change depending on which drive mode you're in, and it is fully customizable. Now, also available is a large head-up display. This is a really big head-up display as well, with tons of graphics. Now, moving back to the steering wheel, we've got a brand new design. It's flat bottom on the top and the bottom, and then we have the nice bolsters on the side. It is power, tilt, and telescoping, and heating is also standard equipment. Got some paddle shifters on the back as well. But one thing I want to highlight here is the interior storage, because even though it's a 2-door, it's actually very spacious on the inside. You'll see that reflected when I open up things like the center console here. Look at how much space we have inside of there. We are out of the state right now, so we don't have our donuts with us. We look forward to testing that out when we get back home to Kentucky, but you can see that there's really a lot of space, and this is going to be quite the positive over something like the Mustang for everyday usability. Now you got 2 cup holders right through there, another large storage cubby, and then this side is a wireless phone charging pad. Right next to that, we have the shifter, which Dodge calls pistol grip. Pull back for drive. Again, you have those paddle shifters I was talking about earlier. And then when we go into reverse, here is the Plus package's 360 camera. As you can see, nice looking graphics on board. You have active trajectory as well, and you can switch between several different kinds of views. Back behind that, you have your electronic parking brake. Now, as we move into this section, you'll see a row of touch capacitive buttons. These are for your climate controls. This model comes standard with a dual zone automatic climate setup. So you'll just tap up and down. It gives you a little bit of haptic feedback as well when you're making those adjustments. And then additional functions are inside of the comfort menu. Now you also see inside of this menu, you have a virtual version of your heated and ventilated seat controls that's also available all the time over here on the side as well. Both of those are going to be optional. And then let's take a look at the main infotainment system. So we got a big old screen, obviously. This in itself is going to be a big improvement over the previous generation. It's standard 12.3 inch display. It has Uconnect 5.0. You have built-in navigation as well. That's what that looks like. And of course you have wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay ability. I wanted to get my phone paired so I could give you a demonstration of the audio system. We've got the available 18-speaker Alpine sound system, and let's give that a sample right now. Very nice. Certainly seems to fill up this cabin very well with some good rich sound and plenty of bass. All right, let's move on to this area. You can see we've got the auto dimming mirror. You also have HomeLink remotes built in. The entire headliner here is also finished in the same suede as other parts of the interior to match with that. And then finally, we have a fixed glass roof.
But now we've got to talk about the practicality of this Charger. So like Drew said, in the front of the cabin, that's actually a really big strong suit for this vehicle. So let's go ahead and check out the rear seats. In order to get back here, it's really easy. All you do is grab that little strap, and that's going to automatically slide the seat out of the way so you can easily climb back here. Of course, do keep in mind, you can also get the 4-door version. So that would, of course, make entering into the rear seats a lot easier. Now, hopping back here into the rear seats. My oh my, we have so much space. Now, like I said on the outside, it's 206 inches in length. And honestly, when you get back here, I think you're going to be incredibly surprised in a good way. There is so much room. We're sitting at about 37 inches of legroom, according to Stellantis, as well as about 37 inches of headroom. Those are exceptionally good numbers for a coupe. This is much larger than something like a Ford Mustang, for instance. And it doesn't matter whether you choose the 2-door or the 4-door, it will have the same space figures. Now, of course, I brought along the official Car Confections ruler. The reason I do that is so I can get a realistic knee room figure for you. This seat is adjusted to Drew's 5'8" driving position. I am 5'9", and I have a 9 inches of rear legroom, guys, in a coupe. That is absolutely awesome. Also, my feet can slide up underneath of these seats. And speaking of these seats, they are actually quite comfortable. They have the same suede finish as the front. You also have the nice headrest up here at the top, and there's quite a few features back here as well. It's not a penalty box at all. So you'll notice here in the center section we have 2 USB-C ports. We additionally have heated back seats, which certainly come in handy on a cold day like today, as well as vents down in the bottom. Now over on the door trim area, I guess, you have a nice padded armrest and then a smaller window. Of course, that would be a little bit bigger if you choose the 4-door variety, but this is really a very practical rear seat regardless of which model you choose. Now, walking up to the cargo area, there is a button integrated under here to open it up, and you do have a power tailgate area. Of course, this is kind of a lift back, which is a really nice feature of this model. And let's talk about overall cargo capacity. So once more, I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised. Even though this is a 2-door coupe, you have a ton of practicality. About 23 cubic feet behind the second row of seats, and about 37 cubic feet if you fold those seats down as a maximum. Once more, that's a lot more than what you would get out of your average sports car, that's for sure. And the 4-door version is going to be very similar in terms of overall numbers. Now, let's also just kind of hit some of the features. There are not any handles to fold the second row down. It does fold 60-40 split, by the way, but I will have to go up there and do it manually. And now that I've got those seats folded down, you can see we have a lot of room. And let's go ahead and get our cargo length, width, and height figures. Behind Drew's 5'8" seating position, we are looking at 85 inches of cargo length. That is absolutely incredible. You could definitely haul some long objects in this car. And then from behind the second row of seats, about 45 inches of length. See the opening? that is coming in at 40 inches wide, and the height, that's going to be the part that's definitely not as good, but right here at the tallest point, you're sitting at about 22 inches of height, and then down here at the end, you're looking at a little bit less than a foot, so that's something to keep in mind. You can't really stack things up too much, and then overall load-in height is pretty good as well at about 32 inches. And underneath of the floor, you do have a little bit of extra space. And, by the way, if you're looking to maybe cross-shop a model like this against other vehicles in any vehicle segment, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/vehicle rankings. On our website, we've gone through almost every vehicle segment and ranked each individual model in the categories that matter most to that type of buyer. Things like cargo capacity, interior luxury, performance, as well as value are all there detailed for you. So be sure to check out carconfections.com/vehicle rankings if you want to make an informed buying decision.
Now let's get into some more details about this 6-pack model. So this is going to come in two different versions, the RT and the Scat pack. The RT is going to still be a 3-liter twin-turbo Hurricane inline 6-cylinder, but that will be making 420 horsepower. However, here in the Scat pack, we have 550 horsepower and 531 pound-feet of torque. So obviously, that is quite a lot of power. Now, this is going to be capable, according to Dodge, of a 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. And this is paired with an all-wheel drive system. But one of the cool things about this all-wheel drive system is that it's not all-wheel drive all the time. You can actually send up to 100% of the torque to just the rear wheels, allowing you for all those shenanigans that you're, of course, used to seeing Dodge Chargers get involved in. Now, as far as the transmission is concerned, you have an 8-speed automatic transmission with paddle shifters, and you have a lot of different drive modes as well on board, including the sport mode, which is going to change the default distribution of torque 40% to the front and 60% to the rear, and turn on that active exhaust to its maximum ability. As far as curb weight is concerned, you're looking at about 4,800 pounds for the 6-pack, which represents about 1,000 pounds of weight savings over the electric Daytona version of this model. You also have a standard mechanical limited slip diff, and as far as fuel economy ratings, the EPA has not yet rated this model. Now, of course, this is the part where we really want to take this out on the road, but I'm going to ask you guys to be patient because there is a driving impressions embargo in place for just a few more days. So we look forward to sharing with you drive impressions, not just from a normal road, but from the Tail of the Dragon, the famous road in Tennessee. We're going to be driving this 6-pack on it. So we can't wait to share with you those details and driving impressions in just a few short days.
And let's go ahead and talk pricing. So when it comes to the pricing of this model, I think you'll also be pretty pleasantly surprised. So the 6-pack 6-cylinder version starts at a hair under $50,000 for the base RT model. Now, if you want the Scat pack like this, which I assume a lot of you guys will want, that's going to be about $55,000 as a starting point. Like I said multiple times, the 4-door version is available. It's about $2,000 extra if you want that. And let's go ahead and take a look at what we have today. So today we have the Scat pack. We also have quite a lot of optional equipment. As you can see, we have a $5,000 package there, as well as a couple other packages that are pretty pricey. $19.95 destination. We're sitting at $68,360 as tested today for pretty much a fully loaded example here. Now, if you're looking to buy a Dodge Charger or any new vehicle, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool to use while you're negotiating. If you'd like to take advantage of that, as well as things like our monthly payment tool, you can find a link to that in our video description, as well as a pinned comment down below. But buying a vehicle is about more than just the original MSRP, so let's talk about resale and reliability. First up, let's talk about resale value. As an economics graduate myself, we took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this Dodge Charger's potential resale value. We estimate that after 5 years and 60,000 miles, it'll be worth 55.1% of original MSRP, and after 10 years and 120,000 miles, 25.2%. Now, it's worth noting those are actually above industry average for all vehicle brands. It is lower than some other brands like Toyota, Honda, and Subaru, though.
Now, we've also done the same for reliability by developing the Combined Reliability Index. This takes into account several reliability studies and combines them in a way that gives you the most holistic picture. In this regard, Dodge is rated just a bit below the overall industry average for all vehicle makes.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about our resale values, our reliability data, or our methodology, be sure to go to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a new vehicle is a big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. Now, when it comes to your warranty, that's also important in that decision. So you do have a 3-year 36,000-mile basic warranty, a 5-year 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. They do not do complimentary maintenance. And guys, that wraps up our in-depth review of the all-new 2026 Dodge Charger 6-Pack. If you enjoyed watching this snowy sports car review, we would appreciate you subscribing down below. By subscribing, you're going to be a part of our Car Confections family. We have a lot of fun on this channel, and I promise you won't want to miss out on the latest and greatest. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.